Charlie gets shot. Let's watch how he reacts. Mikey is still there, phone in hand, still filming, still texting, still talking. Charlie is about to be killed. Mikey's still standing loyally by right there. And then let's watch him walk away. So he goes behind it and he comes out right here. He just walks away. There he is, walking away.
Wow.
So there he is, walking away. That's him. That's him walking away.
None of these things make any sense to me. Like, you're telling me that this kid who's not military trained, this guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane.
One video tearing across the internet has triggered nonstop frame-by-frame breakdowns, slow-motion replays, and some seriously heated debate. The footage centers on Mikey McCoy, Charlie Kirk's 24-year-old chief of staff, during the critical moments surrounding Kirk's assassination on September 10th, 2025. McCoy wasn't just another person on the team. Multiple sources described him as Charlie's closest day-to-day advisor and trusted right-hand man. Now, with people picking apart nearly every movement caught on camera, McCoy's actions in those tense moments have landed right in the middle of the online discussion.
It's a crazy story that Sam Parker has unveiled, and it has to do with Charlie Kirk's right-hand man at TP USA. Here's what he says. As everyone else rushed to Charlie's aid and carried him to an SUV and to jet him to a hospital, this guy, Mike McCoy, can be seen... Mikey McCoy can be seen walking away in the distance, completely ignorant of whatever it is that's happening to Charlie behind him, and not visibly caring at all.
Mikey, get down.
It's really weird. I'm going to show you this video in a second.
According to Candace Owens and others who have been breaking down the footage frame by frame, one detail keeps grabbing attention. McCoy appears unusually calm during one of the most chaotic moments of that day. That observation has sparked plenty of questions and heated discussion online, though the footage alone doesn't prove anything suspicious. But here's where this story gets even deeper. It's become much bigger than just another viral clip. The call logs themselves are reportedly real, and that's where things get even more interesting. According to Candace Owens, Turning Point USA provided her with a minute-by-minute timeline showing exactly who Mikey McCoy called, the order those calls were placed, and how long each conversation lasted. According to claims surrounding those records, the timeline appears to clash with parts of the public account given during official interviews, and that has people looking even closer. Now, as of July 6, 2026, Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing has officially begun, putting fresh developments under the spotlight and adding new context to what those reported call logs may actually show about the sequence of events that day.
Was Charlie dead? Was he bleeding out? Did Charlie need help? Should he ride with Charlie to the hospital? Where are they taking Charlie? What's going on? Apparently, these were all questions of no concern to Mike McCoy, Charlie's friend and his chief of staff.
Mike in a ball cap, backpack strapped tight, phone in hand, recording everything like a man on a mission, always filming, always close.
So there they are. They're in the car. So that's Charlie Kirk. They're on their way to the event in Utah.
Where they have a restaurant.
Mike McCoy can be seen in the rearview mirror.
Wow, look at that.
Wearing a ball cap.
Several clips from different camera angles place McCoy close to Charlie throughout the morning, at breakfast, inside the hotel lobby, near the car, and later at the event venue. But that alone isn't strange. As Charlie's chief of staff during a major public appearance, staying nearby would have been a normal part of his job.
So Mike McCoy, his chief of staff, is in the back seat, and he's filming it. That's him, right there. Mike's phone is visible for an instant. Notice the circle. That's his phone. Okay. So now they pull up on campus, and Charlie's happy about the big turnout. So there's Mike. That's him. He's right behind Charlie Kirk, entering this overhang right here, which they've now scrubbed and restuccoed. This is the view from the overhang. This is Mikey's hat, his phone with the circle.
So let's keep this fair. McCoy's proximity by itself is not evidence of anything suspicious. What really sent the internet into detective mode was the footage captured in the moments immediately after the attack, which reportedly happened at 12:23:30 p.m. That specific window of time is what sparked the intense frame-by-frame scrutiny and debate. In her October 29th, 2025 podcast episode, Charlie's Angels or Demons Disturbing Footage, emerges Candace Owens zeroed in on those exact moments, making them a major part of her analysis. According to Owens' interpretation of the footage, McCoy appeared noticeably calm in the immediate aftermath. She argued there was no obvious panic, no visible rush toward Charlie, and no clear outward display of distress. Instead, the video appears to show McCoy turning and walking away while people around him reacted amid confusion and chaos. That contrast quickly became a major talking point online, with viewers offering very different explanations for what they were seeing. But Owens also drew an important line when discussing McCoy. She stated directly, "I certainly did not think that he was involved in pulling a trigger and unaliving Charlie Kirk."
He's filming all of it. So this is Mikey's. This is from his camera, from his phone. So this is there you go. That's there he is right here. Still trailing him, still filming everything.
So while she questioned his reaction, she did not make that specific accusation. Her focus wasn't on accusing McCoy of carrying out the attack. Instead, Owens raised questions about what he may have known, when he may have learned certain information, and who he was communicating with in the seconds and minutes afterward. According to Owens, those questions became far more specific once the reported call logs entered the picture, triggering another wave of public scrutiny and online debate. Here's the minute-by-minute timeline Owens said was backed by records provided by Turning Point USA. According to those records, at 12:02 p.m., roughly 21 minutes before the attack, Danny McCoy, Mikey McCoy's brother, reportedly called him. Danny's military service has also drawn online attention, although that detail by itself does not establish any connection to the attack.
How, 6 years ago, 7 years,
Yeah.
Charlie saw something in him,
Yeah.
and you're like, well,
Yeah.
because that's, by the way, that's so unfair that I'm saying this to your son. I am breaking every rule.
It's not unfair to him. The reality is, Charlie saw something that Mikey's own father didn't see, and he pulled it out of Mikey. And that's what he would do with all the youth. And one of the reasons I met Charlie was because of Mikey. He says, "Dad, you got to listen to this guy."
At 12:23 p.m., Charlie Kirk was attacked. Just 1 minute later, at 12:24 p.m., members of the security team moved Charlie into an SUV. During that very same minute, the records discussed by Candace Owens indicate that Mikey McCoy placed a call to his wife, Elizabeth McCoy, a detail that later became one of the key points in Owens' breakdown of the timeline. According to the call records Owens discussed, that first conversation between Mikey and Elizabeth continued for a full 10 minutes. Also at 12:24 p.m., Blake Neff reportedly called his own mother, with that conversation lasting around 45 seconds before ending at 12:25 p.m.
Made his life a study of 18 to 30-year-olds, and he spoke to them, and he knew how to push them to excellence. And my son's a perfect example of that. He's exceeded me at 23.
You know what? You, through Charlie, all of you have contributed to all of us rethinking our value system and what matters. Thank you all for that.
Thank you.
You're going to be a star. I'm predicting right now.
Then comes another detail that drew attention. At 12:26 p.m., roughly 3 minutes after the attack, the records indicate that Mikey McCoy added Erica Kirk to the ongoing call with his wife. 2 minutes later, at 12:28 p.m., Erica was reportedly removed from that call while the original conversation was apparently still underway. 2 minutes later, at 12:30 p.m., Mikey reportedly added his father, Pastor Rob McCoy, creating a three-way conversation with Elizabeth, a detail that has since become another major point of public discussion. According to the records discussed by Owens, Mikey ended the call with Pastor Rob at 12:32 p.m. Then, at 12:34 p.m., his original call with Elizabeth McCoy reportedly came to an end. But the timeline keeps moving. Just 1 minute later, at 12:35 p.m., Danny McCoy reportedly called Mikey again, and the brothers remained on the phone for another 10 minutes. Owens argued that this minute-by-minute timeline, based on records she said were provided by Turning Point USA, appears to conflict with parts of the public account Blake Neff later shared during an appearance on The Sean Ryan Show.
Then Trump was shot, Kennedy was shot, RFK was shot. Where were they? There's some things, no matter how hard you try, and especially with Turning Point growing exponentially and trying to figure out the dimensions of what to do. And how are they supposed to get on a roof when the campus police have the keys to all that? Just calm down. And I'm sorry, what's the latest one for all you anti-Semites? The Israelis put a hit on him? Oh, please. Just take your hate elsewhere.
In that interview, Neff said that after the attack, McCoy's lip was quivering. He also stated that McCoy said he needed to call Erica and then immediately called his father to ask for prayer. Owens pointed to the reported timestamps as a reason to question whether those accounts fully line up. That doesn't establish wrongdoing, but the apparent timing differences have remained a heavily debated part of the story. According to the call records highlighted by Owens, however, the sequence appears to tell a different story. The first reported call went to Mikey McCoy's wife, Elizabeth, at 12:24 p.m. Erica Kirk wasn't added to that ongoing conversation until roughly 3 minutes later, while Pastor Rob McCoy reportedly didn't join until several minutes after that. Those specific timestamps are why the exact order of the calls became such a closely debated part of Owens' analysis. Owens also zeroed in on another detail she believes deserves attention.
There's no credence in any of that. You had a man raised in a God-fearing home that got twisted and indoctrinated. And everyone who is involved in lies with subtlety of deception without any fact, you're participating and you've got blood guilt. God operates in truth, not your stupidity. And I'm calling it what it is. You're complicit.
Elizabeth reportedly stayed on the call throughout that entire 10-minute stretch, starting with the first call at 12:24 p.m. Owens argued that despite Elizabeth's reported presence on the line during those critical minutes, she has received very little mention in public accounts describing what happened immediately afterward. That gap has become another source of debate online, with different people drawing very different conclusions from it. According to Owens, Blake Neff's public account didn't mention Elizabeth McCoy at all. Owens emphasized that based on the call records she discussed, Elizabeth was reportedly the first person Mikey McCoy contacted and remained connected throughout that initial 10-minute conversation, making her absence from Neff's account especially notable in Owens' interpretation. Owens argued that this detail was largely missing from the public narrative, and she said that absence raised even more questions. Her question was pretty specific. If the call records accurately show Elizabeth McCoy was the first person Mikey contacted and that she stayed on the line, why was she barely mentioned in public accounts of those critical minutes?
It's like what's this, a precatory psalm? I'm a little bit upset about that. Well, Mikey was standing strong, and I remember Charlie telling me, I want him to be my body man. I just said, that kid can't make his own bed. Charlie saw something in people no one else could see, and he could bring it out of them.
Owens also pointed to Elizabeth's public appearance at the memorial and her reported close relationship with Erica Kirk as reasons she believed the detail deserved attention. At the time Owens discussed the issue, she said she wasn't aware of any public response from Turning Point USA directly addressing that question. But there was another timestamp she highlighted: the reported 12:02 p.m. call from Danny McCoy to Mikey McCoy approximately 21 minutes before the attack. That earlier call has caught serious attention among people studying the timeline. Still, there's an important limit to what can actually be claimed here. No public source has confirmed what Danny and Mikey discussed during that conversation, so its significance remains unknown. Because of that, any claim about what the 12:02 p.m. call actually meant is still speculation. Danny McCoy is Mikey McCoy's brother and has documented military connections, but the call happened before the event began and before the attack. Whether it had anything to do with what happened later, or was simply a normal family call before a major public appearance, has not been publicly established. Based on the information currently available, the purpose of that conversation remains unknown.
In a sense, was a better dad to my son than I was, because he brought out in Mikey the things where I was limited. I didn't think he was capable of it because I wasn't. But I'll tell you what, a father's the only man on the face of the earth who takes pleasure when another man exceeds his ability. I'm so proud of Mikey. He's 24 and he's holding it together.
Now the story shifts to the cameraman situation, because Owens argues this is where one of the biggest factual disputes begins. Her focus turns to Tyler Boyer, the COO of Turning Point Action, who, at the time being discussed, was facing Arizona state felony charges related to fraud and forgery. Those charges are separate from this incident, and they should not be treated as evidence that Boyer did anything wrong in connection with the attack. According to public posts made on the day of the attack, Boyer stated on social media that police had ordered all cameras at the UVU event to be shut down immediately after the incident. That claim became especially important once questions started emerging about exactly what footage existed and who had access to it. That statement quickly became a major point of debate as people compared Boyer's account with other footage and publicly available information. According to Tyler Boyer's public statement, police ordered the cameras to stop recording immediately, meaning filming was supposedly not meant to continue once the chaos erupted. That claim would later become an important piece of the dispute over what was actually captured on camera. Owens, however, presented a different account of the event footage. She said a cameraman connected to the event, someone she stated she personally knew and had worked with before, sent her a video on his own.
When the clip was brought to my attention, I obviously have a file, a big folder of files of every angle, and I decided to track Mikey from every angle available to see, like, maybe we just missed it, and he did at some point put that phone down, dial a number, speed dial, hold down one, I don't know. Maybe we missed it. Because that seems automatic, right? 0.834, that seems pretty quick. And no, he doesn't do that. We even have him in front of Charlie's car. When Charlie is brought to the car, the waiting car rather, he is still on the.
Owens stressed that she never requested the footage and said it arrived without any prompting from her. According to Owens, that video appeared to show something that didn't neatly match the earlier narrative. She said the cameraman continued recording at the UVU scene in what she described as a calm and deliberate manner for roughly 4 minutes after the attack before eventually lowering the camera. That apparent timing difference became another closely scrutinized piece of the controversy. Owens argued that this was tough to square with the earlier public claim that police had ordered every camera shut down immediately. In the footage she described, recording appeared to continue as the crowd reacted in panic and security personnel rushed toward Charlie. That apparent contradiction has become a major point of debate among people combing through the available footage, although the video alone may not establish exactly what instructions were given, when they were given, or who received them. Owens didn't dance around her interpretation. Based on the footage available to her, she argued that Tyler Boyer's public statement was inaccurate. In her view, the cameras were not shut down immediately because the video she described appeared to show filming continuing for several minutes after the attack, a timeline she believed did not line up with Boyer's account.
Take a look at this. Don't worry, we'll slow it down for you. See him in the background with the backpack? Let's go back a little earlier in the footage and see if we can find when he actually maybe dials onto the phone. Maybe we can see him pick up the phone and begin a call before the shot takes off. And then after beginning that call, if we're following this logic, that would mean he puts his phone down until Charlie gets shot. And we were able to find what we think could be that moment. And I can tell you that it is 1 minute and 45 seconds approximately before that shot goes off. And we can watch that here.
According to Owens, if that camera really kept rolling from around 12:23 p.m. until roughly 12:27 p.m., then whatever happened in front of it during those 4 minutes should exist somewhere in the footage she says she received. Even if all of that material has never been released publicly, Owens has treated the reported recording window as an important part of her investigation. Her interpretation, however, has been challenged by others. One of those challenges came from Ryan Helfenbein of the Standing for Freedom Center. In a detailed March 2026 critique of Owens's investigation, Helfenbein argued that there are serious limits to what her review can establish. He noted that Owens does not have access to the complete body of evidence and lacks legal authority to subpoena records, compel testimony, or cross-examine witnesses under oath. In other words, her claims may raise questions, but her conclusions need to be weighed against those major investigative limitations. Those are fair points about the limits of any investigation built around podcasts and publicly available material.
You see Mikey's on his phone here, and you're going to see he pulls it up, and he starts to cover his ear again. Now, that could be unrelated. Again, we're taking a guess here. That's what made the most sense to us because we couldn't justify it in any other way. And I want to be clear, we're not here to make assumptions, okay? And we wouldn't have to make any assumptions if Turning Point USA could just tell the truth. They could just be open and they could be honest about everything. Okay, I obviously went out to both Mike.
Without formal legal authority, an independent commentator cannot subpoena private records, force witnesses to testify, or question people under oath. That naturally puts a hard limit on what can actually be verified. Owens, however, argued that the specific dispute surrounding Tyler Boyer's camera statement is different. In her view, this isn't simply about pushing a theory. It comes down to whether Boyer's public post actually matches the footage she says she has. If that video clearly shows cameras continuing to record beyond the point Boyer described, it could provide important context for determining how accurate his public statement was. Until the full footage is released and independently examined, though, that remains an unresolved dispute. Owens also said Terrell Farnsworth, a Turning Point USA employee who physically took the cameras down, told her the recording was being stopped because the organization was testing a new live streaming approach for outdoor events. Owens strongly pushed back on that explanation during her podcast, stating Farnsworth Turning Point USA has publicly stood behind Farnsworth's account.
Andrew Colvett for a statement, asked those two questions. Hey, who were you on the phone with? What's going on here? No response. Weird. Because if that was me and I saw clips going viral and people were drawing conclusions from that clip, thinking that I was already on the phone, thinking that my reaction was weird, I would instantly hit back. I'd say, here's my call log. You want to know who I was on the phone with? 911.
But as Owens laid it out, 3 different explanations are now sitting on the table, and they still haven't been fully reconciled. There's Farnsworth's statement about testing a new live streaming process, Tyler Bowyer's public post saying police ordered the cameras shut down, and the footage Owens says appears to show recording continuing for several minutes after the attack. So far, no official source has publicly released one documented account that clearly settles those differences, leaving the competing claims disputed. Now, the story enters its latest chapter. As of July 6, 2026, Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing has officially begun, bringing fresh developments and putting new details surrounding the case under serious scrutiny. According to people following the proceedings, recent events involving families connected to the case have raised additional questions and delivered some unexpected twists, keeping public attention locked on what could emerge next. On July 6th, Charlie Kirk's parents, Robert and Catherine Kirk, attended the preliminary hearing alongside Erica Kirk, marking a significant and emotional moment as the legal proceedings moved forward. Together, the family presented a joint statement addressing the impact of Charlie's death. The statement read, "Charlie was a beloved husband, son, brother, friend, and father. Every court proceeding serves as a painful reminder of his passing and the loss that has irrevocably impacted our lives and the lives of his children."
I was freaking out. I called 911. I didn't know what I was doing. Here's my phone. Here's my whole call log for that day. This is, I don't know. I guess we live in a world where that doesn't make sense. I would have issued a statement to dispel any rumors, but they have not. Here's what I want to say, and I honestly understand I'm preaching to the choir here.
The family's words put the personal weight of the case front and center. The family's message focused on the lasting impact of Charlie's death and the emotional toll that each new stage of the court process continues to bring, while once again putting the case under a bright public spotlight. The statement was issued jointly by Charlie's parents, Robert and Catherine Kirk, his wife Erica, and his sister Mary. That united appearance quickly caught the attention of people following the story because it seemed to contrast with months of reports and online chatter about possible tensions inside the Kirk family. According to those reports, Charlie's parents and sister were said to have disagreed with some decisions attributed to Erica concerning the organization and Charlie's legacy. Public court filings have also reportedly involved trademark disputes and probate proceedings. Those separate matters do not by themselves prove a personal family feud, but they have added another layer of public scrutiny. Even so, on July 6th, 2026, the opening day of the preliminary hearing, the family appeared together and released one unified statement. For many people watching the case, that was a noticeable shift from the reported divisions and disagreements that had dominated earlier discussion, although one joint appearance doesn't necessarily reveal what the family's private relationships look like. Security around the courthouse was also seriously tight. Armed law enforcement officers were reportedly stationed on the courthouse roof, public access was heavily restricted, and only 14 spectator seats were available each day. But there's an important legal distinction here. The preliminary hearing is not about deciding whether Robinson is guilty or innocent. Instead, the court is considering whether prosecutors have presented enough evidence to justify moving the case forward toward a full jury trial. That means the evidence introduced at this stage could offer important new details without determining the final outcome. Candace Owens did not attend the hearing in person. Instead, she took to X and posted, "One more fight, Charlie. I don't fear these demons. We will win."
It's unbelievable that of all the clips we picked that, and I had no idea it was UVU. The point is that I hit college campuses with Charlie Kirk for 6 years. I don't believe that there is a single living, breathing person who has spoken at more college campuses alongside Charlie Kirk than me. So I knew that things were weird when I saw first and foremost, the camera guy, the one who takes down the camera. Seeing him lingering alongside Charlie at the event flagged me as weird immediately. Okay? That's why I reached out when people saw him taking down the camera. I said, what is this? Why are you here? Literally, why are you standing next to Charlie? I've never
The message quickly made the rounds on social media and reflected the determined public stance Owens has maintained throughout her coverage of the case. For many observers, that message stood in sharp contrast to the approach taken by Charlie Kirk's family. While Owens continued speaking openly and forcefully about the case, the family kept its attention on the courtroom proceedings and released a carefully worded joint statement. That difference in style has become one of the most closely watched dynamics surrounding the case over the past several months. At the same time, Charlie's parents and sister, who had previously been described in reports and public discussions as having disagreements with Erica, appeared alongside her on July the 6th. Whatever tensions may or may not exist privately, their courthouse appearance presented a visibly united front as the preliminary hearing got underway. Their joint appearance quickly became another closely watched development as the legal process moved forward. But what it actually means behind closed doors remains unknown. It could reflect a genuine reconciliation, a decision to put reported personal differences aside during the court proceedings, or simply the respectful and united conduct expected in such a serious setting. Without direct confirmation from the family, nobody outside that circle can fairly say which explanation is accurate. Anything beyond that would be pure speculation.
Any college event ever in 6 years had that man standing next to me at an event, okay? Sometimes he wasn't even there. Other times, of course, when you are in AV, your job is to be somewhere quiet. Your job is to have on like headphones to make sure the audio is good. Maybe the idea that they're miking, the person running a company is miking you up is completely absurd. I didn't like it. It felt new to me. And you know what? When I called him, things got pretty weird. He acknowledged that a lot of new stuff was happening on that day. And I inquired to him immediately about the subtle changes that I recognized. And the thing that struck me as wrong was that he lied to me.
What their public actions do show is that whatever private disagreements may or may not exist, Charlie Kirk's family and his widow chose not to put those issues on display during the opening day of the hearing. Instead, they appeared together as the court began considering a critical legal question: whether prosecutors have presented enough evidence for the case against Tyler Robinson to move forward toward a full trial. Meanwhile, Owens has kept publicly discussing the case and sharing updates from her own investigation, sticking with the determined approach that has defined her coverage from the start. Her one more fight message and continued investigation have essentially moved on a separate track from the official legal proceedings unfolding in court.
He was lying to me, but a lot of the things that he said didn't make sense. And I'm going to speak more thoroughly about what it was that he said, because obviously I recorded the phone call. I, of course, asked him why he took down the cameras so quickly. I asked him to, first and foremost, simply show me the footage, because that's all I wanted to do. I'm thinking again, we're all going to get the band back together and solve this murder. And he got weird. He got really weird. I said, I just want to see the footage so I can debunk. I know that you don't want to put more footage out there. That's fine. But just show me the footage so I can debunk all these internet conspiracies that you were hiding something. I was not suspicious of Turning Point at all, actually, when I called. And I asked him again, what's the...
While the courtroom is focused on legal standards and the evidence prosecutors actually present, Owens continues to spotlight questions she believes still deserve closer examination. Those include the reported call logs, camera recordings, succession-related videos, and questions surrounding how certain evidence was handled. But these claims and questions should be separated from facts established through the court process. No matter what ultimately comes out of the July preliminary hearing, Owens argues that one major issue remains unresolved, and she clearly isn't backing away from pushing for answers. According to the call records Owens discussed, the first person Mikey McCoy reportedly contacted after the attack was his wife, Elizabeth, not Erica Kirk. Owens argues that this sequence doesn't line up with a public account given elsewhere, and she says that apparent discrepancy still hasn't been publicly explained. That doesn't establish wrongdoing, but the difference in the reported timelines has kept people talking, digging through the details, and debating exactly how those critical minutes unfolded. Owens has also zeroed in on Elizabeth McCoy's reported role during those first critical minutes. She argues that despite the call records she discussed placing Elizabeth on the initial call, that detail has not been addressed in an official public account from Turning Point USA. Owens continues to ask why Elizabeth's reported presence on the line hasn't been publicly explained, while acknowledging that the call itself does not establish wrongdoing. Then there's the camera dispute. Owens points to what she describes as a contradiction between Tyler Boyer's public statement that cameras were shut down immediately and footage she says shows recording, continuing for several more minutes. Those competing claims remain disputed and have not been publicly reconciled. Owens has also challenged Terrell Farnsworth's reported explanation for why the cameras were taken down, arguing that it doesn't appear to match Boyer's earlier statement that police-ordered filming stopped immediately. She presents these as specific points she believes deserve closer scrutiny, although their significance remains contested until the underlying evidence can be independently verified. At the same time, none of these differences, standing alone, proves there was any conspiracy.
Kind of a lie number 2-ish. Then he said something that really bothered me. He said, I don't know how to send the footage. Like the file was too large. Oh, I was born yesterday. So you run an entire AV company and you don't know how to send footage. That didn't smell right to me. It got even more bizarre. He told me, and this is when I was extremely uncomfortable. He said, after I offered, you can just use WeTransfer. He said, I don't want to just send the footage over the...
They do not establish that Mikey McCoy had advanced knowledge of the attack, and they do not show that Tyler Robinson received help from anyone inside Charlie Kirk's circle. Owens's position is narrower. She argues that these are documented discrepancies that, in her view, still haven't been publicly reconciled, which is why they continue generating questions and heated debate online. And there's another key distinction. The preliminary hearing is not designed to settle those broader questions. A preliminary hearing focused on whether prosecutors have enough evidence to move the case against Tyler Robinson forward is not designed to settle every disputed claim floating around this story.
Internet that's behind Charlie's head, because I'm worried that Google might hack me. I swear, on everything I love, that's what he told me. He was afraid that Google was going to hack him. So at this moment, I got a little bit, I looked at my team and I started snapping across the table and I was like, I said to them, literally, guilty of something. I don't know, this is weird. What a stupid lie. I mean, what do you mean just Google? So I said to him, I said, let's just pretend that that does happen. For whatever reason, Sergey Brin is sitting around and he's...
It isn't meant to explain every alleged inconsistency discussed online or answer every question Owens has continued to raise through her investigation. The reported call logs, the cameraman footage, and Owens' questions about the limited public discussion of Elizabeth McCoy's reported role are not part of the prosecution's case against Tyler Robinson. Those issues have surfaced through public commentary and independent reporting, but they remain separate from the specific legal questions currently before the court. That distinction matters. These controversies largely exist in a parallel public conversation that Candace Owens has continued for months, where she has highlighted details she believes deserve deeper examination.
I want to hack this person because I want to see footage behind Charlie's head. Does it, whatever. And then he gives the footage to Fox News, CNN, and they play it. And what happens after that? I said to him, oh, I know what happens after. We all get to see Charlie Kirk die from a different angle. We've seen it die from 1,000 different angles. Like, what is actually changing if Google hacks you? Weird. A weird thing to say.
Whether those questions are eventually answered, disputed further, or clarified by additional evidence is a separate matter. The courtroom has a much narrower job, applying the law to the evidence formally presented in the criminal case and determining whether the prosecution has met the required legal standard. One more fight, Charlie.
What were Charlie's closest friends and allies and the people that were going to carry on the torch doing? Picking up phone calls that they were already on and filming themselves and prematurely announcing when not a single person could have known Charlie Kirk is dead. Less than a minute. Declared dead. No instinct to run towards him. No instinct to run further away, maybe because you got to backtrack and go get the cameras a minute after this ends is when he goes and gets the cameras, okay? Rather, let me record me and my reaction, which doesn't actually.
That message has become one of the defining themes of Owens's public coverage of this case. Her supporters see her work as an attempt to keep digging into questions they believe still haven't been answered. Critics, meanwhile, argue that her approach gives too much attention to disputed or not yet verified information and can generate more heat than clarity. Those two very different views continue to drive the debate. Owens maintains that several issues she has raised still haven't received clear public answers. But unanswered questions are not proof of wrongdoing, and the reported call timeline alone cannot establish what anyone knew or intended that day.
In fact, if this is one of those videos that made me so upset that I was like mad at other people, you know, like I was like mad at Savannah. I saw Mikey McCoy's reaction. Now I'm looking at this guy's reaction. I'm like, Savannah, like one of the homies. I get assassinated. You film yourself.
So where does that leave the bigger picture? Does the reported minute-by-minute call timeline change how you view the events of September 10th? Do the timing differences deserve deeper scrutiny, or is more independently verified evidence needed before anyone starts connecting dots?
I get assassinated. You're talking about my succession plan. A couple of days later, I get assassinated. You're lying about little things about me. Everything Turning Point is doing is wrong, and you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong deep down. And I want to say this because there has been a lot of reading in between the lines. It's strange to me. I think I'm a very direct person and I say what I mean. And I do not want people to mistake what's happening right now or to wrongly assume my intentions here. So allow me to be very explicit.
One more fight, Charlie. For Owens and her supporters, that message represents a determination to keep asking difficult questions, while her critics remain skeptical of the conclusions being drawn. Those competing views are still shaping the conversation, and the debate shows no sign of cooling down.
I want war with all of you. Okay, all of you. And there's a reason. I'm going to get to that reason in a little bit. I want war with all of you. So write your articles, issue your statements, email the White House, reach out for comment, okay? Say whatever it is you want to say about me. I want war with all of you. Because I know this isn't right. And there's no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal.
As the legal process moves forward and more verified information potentially comes to light, every new detail could face serious scrutiny. For now, the public discussion remains active, with major disagreements over what the available evidence actually shows. Until more verified information comes out, many of the claims, disputed details, and alleged inconsistencies being discussed outside the courtroom remain exactly that: open questions, not established conclusions. The debate is still moving fast, but unanswered questions alone don't prove anyone did anything wrong. So what do you think? Does the reported minute-by-minute call timeline change how you view the events of September 10th? Or is it still way too early to start connecting dots without more independently verified evidence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this breakdown helped you understand the controversy, hit the like button, subscribe for more in-depth coverage, and share the video with anyone following the latest developments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.